Hey guys, Wardog73 here with the new season of Warhammer 40k Inquisitor and Inquisitor Prophecy. This game is a Diablo type action RPG with uses kind of the basic RPG archetypes, Crusader being fighter, assassin being rogue, psyker being mage, and tech adept being a summoner mage. Nice thing about this as well, you see a little gameplay on the right, but every of the major classes have little subclasses, and you can kind of pick what you want to do. For the Crusader, you've got the Assault Crusader, sword and board, and he has the ability to use jump armor, like you see over in the video, and he gets up close and personal with the bad guys. Got some really cool abilities with that as well. The Tactical Crusader is more of a tactician. He uses either dual pistols or a pistol and a chainsaw and a sword, and he has the ability to deploy turrets in the battlefield, so you can kind of make sure the extra set of guns on the field. And then you also have the heavy gunner, which is basically a Sherman tank. As you can see here, kind of in his armor, he has the ability to launch rockets at the top of whatever weapons he's carrying as well. Over the assassins, you have the sniper, which is pretty straightforward. Warheads on bullets on foreheads from a distance. Has the ability to, to freeze time. Oh no, I'm sorry. It creates holograms of herself, so you gotta figure out which one's which. Also, all holograms do the same damage she does. You have the infiltrator, and she can cloak and then show up unexpectedly and attack people. And she uses either one-handed or two-handed weapons, depending on what you want to do. But she has some weapons that the Crusaders can't use. And the Eradicator. And this is the one where she warps time or stops time, and then can take out enemies during that little time bubble. Now I will say the assassin class is the only class that has the ability to dodge. None of the other classes have that ability, so it does. You can do a lot of fast gameplay with that. The psyker is a mage of sorts, but they control what they call the warp energy. And warp energy is this the bad stuff. But they have the ability to control it. But the problem is, the more they use it, the greater the warp heat. And at some point, as you can see in the video, things start showing up to the party you didn't really invite in the first place. So you end up having to deal with all the other problems on top of, great power comes great responsibility, but great danger as well. And we have the Appearnist, and he has the Force Staff, and his suit that he uses will stop time, similar to the Assassin Eradicator. The Aether Walker has the ability their armor gives them an extra psyker skill, and we'll cover that in a minute. And they do do a sword and staff, as you can kind of see here. Actually, can turn them. And then the Skyer has a warp-bound armor. So that one, I guess it makes it move a little bit faster. But he uses the bolt pit, what they call the bolt pistol, and the short staff as well. And then your tech adept is kind of your summoner type. As you can see here in the video, they can summon robots, and there's 3 different types of robots, and you can kind of spec out the robots and still use weapons as well. This guy, the Adept Secutor, he has a poleaxe. The Dominus does one type of rifle rather, and this Guitarist has another type of rifle. But they all pretty much little bit different variances. And the cool thing is, it doesn't matter what subclass you get. There's armor available to all 3. You can use whatever 3, so you have a lot of flexibility for what you want to do. Like I said, it's a new season right now, and the seasons for Inquisitor, Martyr, and Prophecy are a lot longer than, say, Diablo 3, but there's a lot more involved with it. So we're definitely going to select seasonal. You can kind of get crazy with the name. As far as characterization, customization, you really can't customize a character a whole lot at this point. The classes have a predetermined gender. I think it goes along with the actual lore within the Warhammer 40k universe. The other games along this line, there's Dawn of War, which is the same universe, but it's more of an RTS. There's a couple other first-person shooters and real-time strategies as well. So if you like this environment, this dark, dim, God Emperor kind of stuff, there's a lot of games really to choose from, and a lot of books as well, and not including the actual tabletop warfare tabletop game. So So I've played a couple of these outside of the season and within the season as well. I'm just trying to figure out what I want to do this season. I think we're gonna go with the Psyker, and we're gonna take. I think we'll take the Imperialist. We'll give them a name. The cool thing is you can kind of give them, a first and last name. The cool thing is, if you've played with a character type before, you can actually skip the tutorial. If not, you actually got to play the tutorial, and then you have the option of playing the story mode. If you've never played it before, I do definitely recommend the story mode, because it's going to set up a lot of what's going on in this game, so it makes a lot more sense going on. But long story short, your character is going to be the protagonist for the story. That's all I'm going to give away with that. So we'll go ahead and look at this one more time. Perils of the Warp. The difference and dangers of Perils of the Warp, and they're the one guys that have a different ability than save the rest. I'll explain once we get in there. Let's go ahead. I've already played it once before, so I'm going to go ahead and skip it. So I'm going to jump right into the first mission. Now, unlike Diablo 3, and Diablo 2 for that matter, your skills are weapon driven and not character driven. You have passives, which help augment your abilities, but for the most part, your abilities are your weapon and armor driven, and I'll explain. Alright, so we'll come back to this in a minute. I'll explain all that in a minute. Inventory. So, main implant. This is all the gear you got. So you got neural implant, eye implant, main implant, purity seal, which is the kind of little ribbon you see right here. It's kind of cool. Now, psychic focus. Now, this is what they call a belt ability. All the other classes can have like a grenade or a force field. The psychers have the ability to have what's called a psychic focus, and gives them an extra psychic ability, warp ability, if you will. That's why it's got this little open block. The cool thing is, if you want more details, you can click on an item. You can kind of get in there and look at stuff. Like if you want to look at different things. And like Warcraft, but Diablo 2 anyway, you have the ability to have different gear sets. So you can have, like, this one is kind of a nice. One second here. This is kind of a nice what they call area effects. This is your crowd control weapon. And this is your point weapon, if you will. And you can kind of play around with it. And then also, every weapon has the ability to that. What's called signums, are just modifiers to your weapon. And not only that, later on in the game, you have items that's called signums, or not signums, I'm sorry, song codes. Kind of like the runes from Diablo 2. So you have a lot of ways to really get creative. And I'm going to put a link in the description below for a compendium for this actual game, which Neocore Games puts on. It helps explain a lot of the things that are going on. The Psyker is kind of a cool class, but it's also a very dangerous class. So if you've never really played before, I'd go play Crusader or Assassin first, and I would, once you get a feel for the game, go back and look at the Crusader. So character points. So you've skipped tutorials, you already jumped to level 5, and it shows you what rewards you get to the next level, and you've got your attributes, and it kind of differs by class. Resilience, force. Usually this one usually variants. And as you can see, as you get more points, it'll stay. You get more points, you get different abilities. The way you get points is you'll get points through leveling up at certain points. I think it's every 10, 20. Here, let's see here. Yeah, it kind of shows you what you get where. At level 10, you get, let me see here, skill point. Oh, level 9, I'm sorry. Well, so I think the second class is a little bit different, but most part, I think it's like at every level, at level 10, you get an attribute point. Every so often, you get an attribute point. Plus, if you complete certain things, you get attribute points as well. So let's get tutorial missions. I've actually got 4 points. Second, it's not so bad. Suppression damage bonus also, actually not so bad either. Damage bonus. That actually may not be a bad deal. The ethereal drain to do more damage when you above warp heat. I'll explain in a couple. And then this one, if I put 4 points in, I get the warp heat cost of psychic powers. And I'll get that here in a couple minutes as well. So I think decisions. I think I'm gonna go ahead and bump up this, and then we go to inventory. Then we go to passives. Now, here's the passive tree. Now, for the most part, everybody has access to all these trees. However, some of these trees require criteria. like damage over time. This one I can't unlock until level 7, as you can kind of see. It deals with poison, heat attacks, fire. Not only for the psychic abilities, but any weapons there are. Weapons will explain also in the next couple. Critical hits rather, is able to everybody. Psychic combat, psychic debuffs are psychic only. There are some trees that are kind of, specific. Statistical attacks, melee combat, that's good for your melee combat people, the Assassin, Eradicator, and the Assault Crusader. Single DPS, good for your snipers, your one-shot folks. Area effects, this is your heavy gunner, Psyker some. A lot of the weapons do have area effects, you have to pay attention. And then now at the very bottom here, you can see you got the Puritan path and the Radical path. This is a game concept. This is a big concept rather with the Warhammer 40k universe. Is decisions you make, are they in line with the doctrine, or are you completely off the rails? And as you when you play throughout the game, there'll be certain times in the story you'll have to make a choice. Do you make a Puritan decision? Do you make a radical decision? Right now, I can't see it. I gotta wait a while to start triggering that. But you get certain abilities. Now, for 99% of those that play this, your best bet is go straight Puritan path. I ain't gonna lie, because all these things are kind of cool. Like you get less damage from all your baddies. You get additional health to you and anybody that comes along. And if you got more of them, you get the stacks. If you kill a demon, or daemon rather, you get regeneration, both hit points and suppression for 5 seconds, and some other cool stuff. And this will benefit 99% of what's playing. The radical path, this is going to definitely be more for the psychers. The psychers are really the only ones that kind of can really use these things. So, for the most part, everybody should use a Puritan path for this playthrough. I'm going to definitely use that. And I have, what's that at? I think I've got a couple points here. So I think I'm going to start with psychic combat, and I'm going to get to more than that in a minute. I get 4 points. And some of these require multiple things we lit up before you get there. I'm going to go there. Alright, so I got my psychic combat started. Cool. So I need to get the combat. First things first. Because I'm a psyker,
who are you, soul?
The psyker actually gets the ability to kind of set his skills up and give those skills abilities. And you could, since I have 2 weapon sets, I'll have 2 skill sets. So this one is the Force Staff, but I think I'm going to stick with the straight fire build for now. Just kind of, I can go in here and it's like, this is kind of a good setup. I can give it some abilities. And as I level up and get more abilities in the psychic combat, psychic defense, a lot of these will become unlocked. 0 hit chance, and that's okay. That's not a bad idea. So I'm going to go with cooldown. And we'll give all these guys. Let's see, what's this one have? Any chance? Go through these real quick. I'm going to give everything the cooldown, except for this one. This one that one's kind of cool. I can get a shield, so we'll do that. And this is a nice one to have. This one's a fire. This one's actually what they call a blessing or a shield, so it kind of makes it nice. And then, like I said, as we get more powers like this, I don't have the one I would like yet. This one I need later on, but for now we'll start with cooldown so we can get it fired back up. And the kind of set. Once you set it, you can go back and look at all your skills, and we'll have more skills later on. So I think we're all set here. And obviously, let's look at here for a minute. This first skill is the weapon skill itself. Everything else is your psyker skills, and that is the armor skill. We'll try to get some gameplay of that. All right. So unlike Diablo, you wander around the map. Everything is done via what's called the star map, or you have the star map. You can kind of dig around, which is kind of cool. It's got a neat little look. I'm kind of in story mode right now, so it's going to take me to where I need to go next. But I'm actually, I can kind of, I'm actually in adventure mode, so I can kind of jump around any spots here on the map. And I'm all the way out. I can actually dig into this a little bit more. Also, back to the bridge for a minute. You also have the ability, once you get out of pure story mode and adventure mode, you can kind of do it this way too, which is down here at the bottom here is mission deployment. Grab one and go. Now, system influence plays a lot later on in the game. Early on, not that big of a deal, but later on it's important. As you unlock as you complete missions, you'll get influence, and you'll be able to get different perks or bennies as well. The system does have a guild or clan system. I am currently part one, or it's called a cabal in this case. And this is the Cabal of Men's level 10. There's not a lot of members right now. And there's a tech tree which has the ability as you go through stuff. Has different little, like any other thing with got a guild, guild abilities, and you can see who's online or join another guild. And not only that, you can join across North America, Europe, Asia. I don't remember all the areas, but it's all over the place. So you can join, wherever you want to. And see here, go to members. As you can see, I'm an adept, and this guy is the big guy. So it's kind of, I go online. It's only 2 guys here. So as far as customization, I can't do it yet because you have to get part of the mission. There's a guy that sits here. Once you get him, you can customize the coloration of your armor. That's really about it. Only other customizations that you have, keeping in mind, I've unlocked these through buying different DLCs, whatnot. You get this little guy. There's a couple different ones. They follow you around. Don't do anything useful. Emotes. I've never noticed this a whole lot. This might be more stuff with people. So I haven't played with that yet. I might check with that later on. Cosmetics. A couple of extra DLCs. You get different helmets. So there's not a whole lot. I'm hoping they add some more helmets later on when they add the new character class in February. I think I kind of like that. I'm gonna go with that one. Bridge decorations. These are all in line with the look and the lore that is Warhammer 40k. If you look at like Dawn of War, the other games, a lot of the same looks, frames, similar to Diablo 3. I'm not gonna go into too much. And rosettes, same thing as Diablo 3. Oh, and footprints. I'm going demon, so I think I'm gonna go with the Carnage. I've played other times. I got the Seal of the Inquisition, which is kind of cool. Corrosive. Like I said, I'm hoping with the new character class being added in February, I'm hoping they add some more stuff. And then commendations, also Diablo, 003-esque. As you can tell, I've played a few seasons. I can put stuff in here. This is their actual 4th season they've been doing. The way it usually runs, desktop runs first, and then console runs second. You can get this on console, so it's kind of cool. I haven't played this on console, so I can't speak to it a whole lot. But for the most part, my understanding is plays about the same. I do not know if there's cross-play. You can do co-op, but I don't know if it's cross-platform, so can't speak to that. So, and then moving left here, we got a couple things here. And then now the season. Okay, so the season has its requirements, not only like Diablo 3, but they're a little more involved. Now, I will admit I started playing the character, and I want to start over to just kind of show you this side of stuff, but this is level 1, and at each level you get a little bit of stuff. And I've got a few things here. Tarot, I'll explain that in a minute. Blueprints, I'll explain that as well. Full gear, whatever. So, like Diablo 3, you have a guy that sits right here. Once you get him, you can learn blueprints, and he can build you stuff. And you can modify your stuff, and you can add psalm codes or runes to your stuff. Once he gets here, you can start building some cool stuff. There'll be a character you find later on. This will mess with what is called the inoculator or your first aid kit. This is modifiable. You can change some of these things in and out with different other abilities, so you can really kind of get really creative with that. Once this guy gets fixed, we picked him up because he was dying. He will actually allow you to do the PvP stuff. I personally am not a big PvP guy, but to each their own. And then you have the stash. Like Diablo 3, this is a seasonal stash. Once you get done, it will add to the regular stash as well. Also, once you complete the main missions, there'll be a little thing little cherub sitting here. There's 3 what they call orders within the Inquisitor ranks, and you have the ability to get favor with them, and they have their own stores, and you get some more stuff with that. So it's kind of really, they're not here right now, obviously. And one of the cool things I like about this game over Diablo 3, I can spin the map. That means I can turn that map wherever I want to, get the angle I want, wherever I'm running the map. Also, you have what's called a tactical view. I can't see it here, it's kind of hard to tell, but we'll get into a map and I'll cover that in a minute. So let's go ahead, and then you also have the journal with all your notes, talk about your missions, any DLCs, and it comes with tutorials as well, and it talks about all your different stuff. So a lot of stuff is definitely right here. So let's do this, Alright, let's go, oh, this guy. Alright, before I forget.
You have called from now on.
You can fast click through any dialogue. This guy does what's called the random missions, or intel missions and stuff. I can't talk to him right now because I have to get to other stuff unlocked first. But later on, we'll talk to this guy. He has some other side missions as well. Now I know it talked about. Hold on a second.